order the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Carla, if you'll call the roll, please.
Robert Mueller.
Here.
Dina Kreitler.
Here.
Jan Braun. Beth Caldwell.
Beth did say that she was probably going to be a little bit late.
Okay. Stephanie Garminger.
Here.
Kelly Fowler. Laura Oliver.
Here.
Mike Hankins.
Here.
Kathy Walsh.
Here.
Tom Couch. We have a quorum.
Thank you. You have the agenda before you. On the top, take a look at that. Are there any additions to that agenda?
If there aren't any additions or changes, I make a motion we accept the agenda.
Kathy, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Stephanie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried. There's the minutes of the December meeting included in your packet. And Carla sent these out the other day, so. Hi, Beth.
Good morning.
Are there any changes to the, or corrections to the minutes?
I have one addition, only because it was such a watershed event for our group. Jan Braun's distributed the new St. Genevieve Visitors Guide at the last meeting. So I think that would be important to capture in the minutes, because we might not remember next year.
Okay, and where are we?
It would be on the second, the
Print
third
media.
page, print media.
Okay.
Committee Chair Jan Braun's distributed the new St. Genevieve Visitor Guides to advisory council members, I guess. And then on the sentence that's existing there, you could take out the part after Sandra Cabot reported all the way up until will, and then Sandra Cabot will get with the committee to get a list, da-da-da-da. The existing sentence,
Sandra Cabot reported that the visitor guides have arrived and are ready for distribution. Committee Chair Jan Braun distributed new visitor guides to the council members.
that works. And then Sandra will get with the committee.
Okay.
Any other changes, corrections? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve as amended or corrected. So moved. Dina. Mike seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next agenda item is the citizens to be heard. Are there any citizens to be heard? I guess not today, so move on to Sandra's report.
Okay. You have two handouts in front of you. One is the colored stapled set of data. This is nice to look at because you see the whole calendar year in front of you, our highs and lows. And I thought it was ironic today as I came over to the meeting that we have snow flurries, because 2 weekends in December we had, whatever you want to call it. Yes, flurries. We had some flurries. And then we had the 4 inches of rain the following weekend, and so it seems like we couldn't catch a break. But so our visitor numbers, this is tracking through the end of December, and you can see that in the month of December, we only had 517. So that was down quite a bit from what we were hoping for. We were down 30% on last year. And fortunately, we had a very strong track record up until that point, and so it only, I think we might have been up as much as 25% on the year if we'd have had a normal December, but as a result, we were only up 13% for the total year, calendar year, that is.
All the rescheduling with the Christmas festival really.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, that is such a great event, and we're as busy as we are during vet, and not having that's really,
Yeah.
that was a bummer.
And then to reschedule it to the next weekend and have a new snowstorm the next
know.
weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Perhaps we should take an action item sometime to kind of look at how we do notifications. And not that they were, I mean, that was kind of unusual, but should we set up a system for notification of changes and things of that sort?
Well, I feel like, I mean,
You
I'm
did it-
just.
I know you did it on
I'm just going
Facebook.
to ask how people, we did the radio, we did Facebook. It was almost in real time as we were getting information.
Yeah.
The Friday that we were closed, I was actually in the Welcome Center all day long.
Yeah.
And fielding questions and preparing social media updates. So, I mean, I don't think we can get
is
any
it outside?
faster.
I'm thinking more outside the community. Is there something that we had a bunch of advertising going on the television?
And we updated, right, we
Yeah.
updated our television campaigns and our print campaigns in the metro area for St. Louis.
Do we have a list of like radio stations around the general area that we could maybe send a little flash to them? Or newspapers are a little tough because they're not daily, but maybe radio stations might. I think you guys all reacted quite well. I'm just saying in the future, can we make it even better?
I don't know, what does the committee think? Did you feel like there was any lack of communication?
Being on Facebook, I felt like I was really, I mean, to the minute, up to date
Right.
and everything.
We had it on the
Get
local radio.
Everybody.
It was
But
on
if
KSH
you want to do something
KTJJ.
on the radio in St. Louis, would you have to pay for that?
No, you can send in a news.
Right, they have, they
Yeah.
have,
Kate, you can send that in.
yeah.
In St. Louis, though, it kind of becomes a list of cancellations.
Yeah.
You get pretty lucky to catch it.
Well, and I know that after all the Facebook updates were done, Jessica from KTJJ called me and she's like, can you go on air real fast? And I'm like, sure. So, I mean, it was being noticed and then they were picking it up. So, I mean, I did an interview with KTJJ from home on my couch.
Yeah.
So,
So I think the only thing would have been, well, and here's the thing. We were notifying everyone of the things that were canceled or postponed to the next weekend at that point, hopefully trying to build business for the next weekend because nobody was going to come here
Right.
from St. Louis or anywhere else on that weekend because they had as much snow in St. Louis as we, well, not quite, but they could all.
The first round they didn't.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, is there an easy way, sort of like Facebook, to just let the radio stations know or the TV stations know? You just send it out in a blurb,
Yeah.
kind of what you did, and just in case people are coming from other areas.
Right, that's, maybe what I ought to do is document what we did so that we could repeat that process and add the addition of the radio and TV on the day of, because we reached out to the radio and TV on Monday when we knew everything that was going to be rescheduled for the following weekend. But the only thing that we could have, and I'm saying, St. Louis media markets, we did reach out, of course, to KSGM, and they knew about it on the day of, but I wonder if, the only thing we could have done was on the day of to get it to the St. Louis markets, like Martin was saying on their scrolling.
I heard live announcers, and I can't remember if it was NBC or Channel 4, whichever, I had a channel on, and clearly it was a slow news day except for snow, and they were talking all about our Christmas festival and how it was canceled, but it'll be the next week, and
That was on Channel 4 because we were running that commercial, and I contacted them on Friday, and I said, this isn't going to happen. So they picked it up on their news. But what Bob is saying is to get it to the other channels in a similar fashion. And to your point, it's probably because we were spending a little money there, or a lot of money there, that they did us that great favor. Because like you said, I don't think they would normally cover so much of St. Genevieve's news. The Post-Dispatch actually had a photographer come down here. I don't know if anybody caught that, but
Really?
on Friday, there was a Post-Dispatch photographer walking the streets of St. Genevieve. He tried to take a picture of me, but I wouldn't let him. But he got a picture of Joe Rozier. Huh?
Was it a bad hair day?
It was a lot of things. But he got a picture of Joe Rozier and his dog shoveling in front of his shop, and he went up to the park and he took pictures of kids sledding on the park hill up there.
oh, I did see that.
And there
yeah.
was some young parent who had grown up in St. Genevieve,
Oh,
now
yeah.
lives in St. Louis, had brought his kids down to get the experience of sledding on the hill. That was kind of a neat.
Yeah.
And that was the Post-Dispatch was doing that.
It was also on, they also did that was on the news too, though. I seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so-
They did something on the regular news, too?
Yeah, because I'd seen the interview. I knew that kid, but now I can't remember his name. But yeah.
Okay.
Well, so maybe what I'll do is record for posterity and add a little bit to it then.
Yep, good.
Okay. So, so that's where I started out, is talking about the numbers. So, of course, December was dismal, but we ended the year 13% ahead in total attendance, mainly the last 6 months of the year, but you can see the blue marks there where each month was higher. Group visitors, of course, we actually had 2 groups that were scheduled in December, and both of them canceled. One was a student group and one was an adult group. So those were both canceled, and we ended the year within 5 people of the number that we had last year. And again, if we hadn't had the weather cancellations, I think we would have at least pulled ahead of last year. And then here we have some of the data that is in, and this is limited data, so it's really just for your information, but we have some of the sample data that's available from sales tax revenue in the downtown area, selected shops and restaurants. So you can see the month of December was slightly higher this year than last year, at least in the restaurants, and that's the year-to-date, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was slightly lower for the month of December, and the year-to-date, we ended up a little bit higher than last year. We had a really strong November, as you can see, almost, well, not quite double, maybe 90% double of what we had in November of 2012. Shops, on the other hand, was a different story. In the month of December, the way that the downtown sampling works, there's only one shop that reports in that month, and they didn't report anything yet, so there's a 0. But on the year, we had about 9,800 as opposed to 10,600 in 2012. So the shops in general, and I'm sure some of our shop owners could vouch for this, but the shops in general are still looking to see the turn of the tide, let's say, and pick up a little bit. The restaurants, it looks like they're doing fairly well, but our shops need to catch up. And then I included the thing about passport sales. Of course, the committee knows that we don't sell passports in the month of December, but I thought that I might include that just because it's always been there. So we'll start selling passports again on April 1. The other thing that I had in everyone's handouts is the flyer about the King's Ball. Of course, this is coming up February 1st, and we're very excited about that. I hope that all the committee members feel encouraged to attend. You may dress in period costume, but you do not have to dress in period costume. You can just come and have fun, and it's a family event. If you have teenagers who want to come and bring a friend, they probably would get a kick out of it once they loosen up a little bit and start trying the dances. They explain all the dances. There's a caller that tells you exactly what's happening. So it is one of our signature events. So if you haven't tried it before, it's definitely an experience worth trying. And then while we're on that subject, in terms of our advertising, I didn't make copies of this for everyone because they're color, but there's 2 ads here that I want to just send down each row. One is a tall, skinny one. This is a typical ad that when we have the space available, we're moving more towards this kind of a look. Immediately says French Colonial, 1 hour from St. Louis along the Mississippi River, because some of the events that we've been going to, people aren't exactly sure, of course, where St. Genevieve is. They probably have heard about it, but they might not realize that we're just due south of St. Louis. And then some of the keywords: art galleries, hiking and scenic drives, wineries, microbreweries, historic homes, museums, antiques and shopping, and unique dining and lodging. So trying to really spread the word about our attractions as a destination beyond just the French Colonial and beyond just the historic destination, but really trying to encourage people to come here, spend the night, maybe spend several days, and there's lots for them to see and do while they're here. So that's this one, and then the second one is...
What's that in?
This is going to be in AAA Southern...
Or so,
Yeah, they call it AAA South, AAA Southern. So this goes mainly outside of our state.
Southern region? Okay.
Yeah, the whole southern region. This one is an example of an in-state ad. This is from Missouri Life. And so these people already know about Missouri. Chances are pretty good that they know where St. Genevieve is. So I'm putting our events, and I think I reported at the last meeting that I'm picking up, I consulted with Brad Arnold over at the community center about picking up some of their events when it's appropriate. So you'll notice in here that we have the April 12th Neon Glow included. I think that might draw some people who might not otherwise come to St. Genevieve. Maybe they're not history buffs or that kind of thing, but a lot of people go, and do these 5K runs just to get a collection of t-shirts. So anyway, I'm going to pass these around. If you can pass those down that way, and I'll just hand these this way. And then finally, I just wanted to report very briefly on the American Bus Association meeting. I know I reported at the previous meeting that we would be attending that. Laura Oliver from Cave Winery went to it representing the Route de Vin and Cave Winery. And of course, I went to it representing St. Genevieve Tourism. This event draws tour operators from all across the United States. It happened to be in Nashville, Tennessee, but in 2015 it's going to be here in St. Louis, Missouri. And so we, St. Genevieve, as members of the St. Louis Convention and Visitors Commission, and also the Route de Vin has paid for a membership to the St. Louis CVC. We were notified about the ABA coming to St. Louis, and we sort of finagled our way into a comp pass. Normally it's about $1,000 to attend one of those events, but I sort of made the case as to, I'm a new director of tourism, we're a member of the St. Louis CVC, it's going to come here next year. We would love to get a pre-conference like sightseeing tour to come to St. Genevieve, and I'd love to see what this event is all about. So they came up with a comp ticket, and we really thought there were going to be like several people on this comp tickets, but really it was just Laura and I that were comped. So we felt pretty special, and they did a complete tour of not just their trade show floor, which is a very impressive trade show floor with all the major media publications that handle group travel arrangements across the United States and even internationally, but they have a whole floor of appointments that are being taken by these motor coach operators. How many were there?
1,400.
1,400 desks with a motor coach, decision maker there, and you as a destination get to put your information out. You have to fill out a profile, and it's like matchmaking. They say, I'm looking for historic destinations, I'm looking for wineries, I'm looking for this, and you put up, what your your main features are, and they match these. And if you have a match, you go and meet with these people face to face at the conference, and they're 7-minute meetings, and you are just on the run, and they have like a 1-minute warning bell, and everybody switches.
It's like speed dating.
It's speed dating.
For motor coaches.
Yeah.
It is the most impressive thing I've ever seen.
Did we have a cheat sheet, or did we participate in that this year?
We were there as observers only,
Okay.
non-paying observers, but we had the chairman of next year's caucus as our personal escort on the floor, and the coordinator from the St. Louis Convention and Visitors Commission, Renee Eichelberger, who she's been attending the event for
10 years.
10 years plus, yeah. So the two of them walked us through the floor, and they even had us watch, how this process worked. They said, do you mind if we watch while you talk to somebody? And they role played for us how they, what you've only got 7 minutes, so you want to put your best information out there first.
Did you see the kind of sheets that people use?
Yes.
Yeah, so we can start working on that for the St. Louis Convention?
We can, and really the strategy. I don't think we would have picked up on nearly as much of the strategy if we had just wandered in there and looked around on our own, so it really did help to have the personal guidance. So it's a very long and involved process. They start in April, and then it doesn't happen until January. So
Do you know the matches that you're going to do
Yes.
before you go?
you go in with, they print out a list of everybody that you were matched with. The perfect match is when you request them and they request you. Then there's matches that you requested and they're like, oh, I suppose I'll meet with you. It's kind of, it's a lot like the Match.com stuff. So anyway, so that was very educational. It was very beneficial, I felt, and here's the other thing, it's a long process. You know, if you meet with them in January of next year, they're probably, like right now, a few of them are still planning 2014 trips. The majority are planning their 2015 trips. So there again, next year, they'll be planning 20, maybe 15, and for the most part, 16 trips.
But they're
Yeah.
booking that business, you could book business right there in your 7 minutes. I mean. and
It's possible,
And
yeah.
we talked to other delegates, and they all said that it's well worth the time and money that you put into it.
Did you get a list of all the
No.
operators?
Oh, no.
No.
Not until we,
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So what's the next year have to hold? Is it, what's your role going to be?
Well, at a minimum, it will be here in St. Louis, and I've proposed, I don't know if they're going to take us up on it, because everybody and their brother is going to want a sightseeing trip, right? The Herman wineries, everything. So I've proposed that they include St. Genevieve as one of their sightseeing events prior to the conference. So if they do that, it would be on Saturday beforehand. The next step up from that would be if we register as a sponsor and we have a booth space on the floor so that everyone who comes to St. Louis can see a booth about St. Genevieve and the wineries and so on. And then the next beyond that is to be a delegate who takes appointments. They take the appointments. I guess you are the appointment because you're trying to sell something. Yeah, so the next step is to find out the complete costs and how to work that into our budget and see what we can do. Yes.
If you have a booth, I remember you and I attended several of these things, and they don't have a lot of time. Not everybody gets to where the booths are. It's just run the same.
It's similar to the Missouri meetings
Or
and
they give
events.
more time, though.
There's one afternoon when they don't have any appointments going on, they don't have any educational sessions, they're just there to walk the booth floor. That was not the day that we were there. We were there on a day that there were appointments being taken so that we could see how that process works. But the conference goes like from Sunday to Wednesday, and Sunday afternoon, all of the delegates are available to walk the booth floor, and they said it's just packed that day.
So are there booths for providers or people that schedule tours and also providers of tour experiences? I mean, we're a provider of a tour experience.
Right. It's mainly suppliers like us and
mainly destinations.
publications.
Destinations.
Yeah.
cities and states
Yeah,
had
okay.
booths.
Right, so Branson was there, the St. Louis CBC had the zoo and the History Museum, and
I mean, they were representing several St. Louis
Right.
destinations, but it was cities and states that had the booths set up.
And Anheuser-Busch was there.
they were not, but they'll be involved in a big way next year.
They
when-
beat us out that year, remember?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they came around after it and said that it was our first year to be in there. That, remember the three judges, and said, we like your booth the best, but
We're giving it to
we
AB.
got fourth. Or second, third.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
So it was very, very beneficial, educational, and if we can afford it, depending on how much we can afford, it would certainly behoove us to get on the radar screens of these companies. Because then, then we went to like social events and a lunch. We were only there for a day and a half, but meeting people who take, multiple trips. They might be from, Pennsylvania, and they're taking 2 trips a year to Branson. And she said, I might swing down to St. Genevieve, and, because the people are on these buses for a long time, and they like to get off and stretch their legs and see something new. It's all about what's new. They all want to be the first one to have some cool new destination on their travel agendas that nobody else is offering. So we could be the next cool destination.
Did you pick up any ideas of what other sites are offering that we might be able to offer up? I would assume before next January, we're going to start working our list of, and we've already had some conversations about that. What can we offer a tour group?
Yes.
What options? And did you pick up any ideas?
We quizzed them about that, actually. The people that were acting as our guides, one of the director of the program for next year is actually a tour operator. And so we said, what do you look for? So that she kind of told us the things that they look for.
Okay.
So when you're talking about strategies, can you give us an example of the strategy that you think? Jeff?
So some of the examples that she told us that they look for are comping the driver and the escort for, for meals or other things that the group is doing while they're here, offering free things that they can raffle off on their bus, offering video that they can show on the bus. So of course we've got those kinds of things. Having great photos, iconic photos of your destination to provide to these tour operators that they can use in their brochures, and then they can, they all have social media pages. They're trying everything that they can to get these people to sign up. So those were some of the strategies in addition to, just networking with them while they're there at the ABA
I
conference.
think in our case, it's going to be too, how easy you can make it, because we probably would not be an overnight destination for these, because they're going to be passing through it to be a 2-hour stop. How easy are they getting on and off the highway? How convenient? How can we make it a smooth stop and transition for them? Because they're going to want to get back on the road quickly.
A clear route for the buses, adequate bus parking, all of those things.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, it was
It
pretty
does.
neat. I've been to a lot of conventions and trade shows, but I'd never seen anything like this speed networking thing before. 1,400 desks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was very impressive.
How often does it come to St. Louis?
It's never come.
It's never been
I
here
don't think
before.
so,
Oh.
yeah. They've been doing it for 30 years. It's been in Nashville twice, though.
How about booth cost? Did you find out about that?
We haven't gotten all the figures on that yet. Of course,
That
their
seemed
website.
very, it's not like, I think it was very, you have to sponsor to get a booth.
Right.
You can't just go in.
It's not that you just pay for a
Right.
booth like a
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah. I'm sure it's pricey, but I'm sure it's.
What a
Did you
great,
find
what a great
people-
Did they
exposure.
have people in costume and any? Did you?
Some places did. Like, what was the place that had the Bubba-looking guy?
The who?
Bubba, like he was
Oh, they
the,
had the Branson people dressed up. Someone
Is it
had,
like a ball
who was it, Pigeon Forge or someone had
Pigeon
an actual
Forge.
pig there? I mean, the booths themselves were impressive. People went all out.
Yeah.
I mean, they were.
Interesting.
Yes.
and they all gave away something to eat for free. Like they might have
Good
had little
stuff.
samples of apple cider.
There was an ice cream thing. There was
Yeah.
fun.
Sounds like
We
you
took
girls
home
had
big-
fun.
We did.
It was
The
a
first
rough
afternoon, we were very strategic. We just went to the places that had food or drink. Then we, got down to business a little bit more. But we were hungry when we spent 5 hours on the road.
Years ago, someone told me, you want people to attend your event, and remember, you feed them and give something away.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the strategy. That's exactly what she was saying.
And it wasn't pens and Hershey Kisses. I mean, it was.
There was plenty of those, but yeah.
It was good.
The Louisville, Kentucky was giving away little bourbon balls and bourbon flavored chapstick. I've got 2 tubes.
Are you allowed to drive after?
Well, that's when they put it on. Yeah.
With the beer down.
Yeah, officer, it's just chapstick.
Never heard of that before.
I had never either, that's why I got 2 tubes. So, yeah, they were very creative in their presentations, and it was very educational in a lot of ways.
It sounds like an opportunity again, because we've always talked about how do we get more bus traffic coming in.
Just even building awareness. I mean, if they're walking by a booth that says St. Genevieve, French Colonial, wineries, all these features that we have here, that'll definitely make an impression.
And I think next year, it being in St. Louis is the year to make the investment when we can
Absolutely.
Yeah.
tie that in with a possible trip down.
Mm-hmm.
I think what surprises me, we've always heard a little bit about the demise of the tour bus business, that it was going down, but
Not in this.
1,400 or,
These people, it's alive and thriving. I mean,
Yeah.
their numbers are incredible.
yeah.
I didn't
They're-
realize so many people were touring. It's not just senior citizens.
Right. And they had these motor coaches on the exhibit floor in this one area, and there must have been 10,
10 big buses, at least.
$500,000 buses.
Were you able to take pictures?
Yes.
Okay.
Friend me on Facebook, you could see the whole outfit.
No, I was just curious
Yeah.
for ideas,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that.
Let's see, what else? So That's enough about the ABA meeting. As Laura said, I think next year, I mean, it's coming to our backyard. This is the time to
We gotta
make an
play-
impression.
Sounds like one of the initiatives.
Get a lot of
we
people
should
at
do.
once, yeah.
Yep.
So along that line, transportation-wise, one of the other things I wanted to report on is that I've been meeting with potential transportation providers about the costs involved for scheduling transportation for bed and breakfast guests to get out to the wineries and back, and also transportation to bring groups of people from St. Louis to St. Genevieve on buses or small coaches, whatever it might be. So, you don't know what the costs are until you try to find out what the costs are. So I'm trying to get a handle on what that would entail. And we've got 2 operators who work in this area who I've communicated with, and, just to explore what, are we talking about $20 a person? Are we talking about $100 a person? So I'm exploring in that direction, and then all of this, as I think as Bob just alluded to, all of this, if we can, I'd like to capture it in the new marketing plan. So hopefully we'll be able to gather a lot of this information and work it into that. We might have to have some flexibility so that, if we find out a few months from now that we want to do this, that we have some flexibility to be able to do that. So I think that's it.
Were you going to talk about the plan, the 2014-15 plan?
That's what I just said,
Oh,
the marketing
okay.
plan.
Yeah.
I'd like to incorporate some of this into the 2014-15 plan.
Okay, very good. We'll go into old business. First was an update on the 2014 calendar development.
So at the last meeting, I distributed the list of confirmed events that we had up until December 20th. We still have a few stragglers, and Bob and I are still working to track down those stragglers, but all of the events that we have confirmed, I've submitted to Chuck, our webmaster, to ask him to get those out there. And those events are not just the dates, but they also provide their description of the event, so it's, their preference on how they would like to have the event portrayed. So I sent those to him this week to post on our website, and then as we get these stragglers, and there's really, there's maybe a half a dozen stragglers that haven't turned their forms in.
Good.
So we'll continue to work on
Can you
that.
provide the list, or we should, if you'll
It
tell me
hasn't,
which ones you want me to go after, or you're going to,
right?
so,
Sure.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed from what I handed out in
Okay.
December, sadly.
so I'll just use that. Okay, TV commercial update.
How many people have seen the commercial on Channel 4? I get calls all the time that people saw it, and even like people I went to college with, they're texting me like, hey, I just saw a cool commercial about St. Genevieve. Did you do that? I was like, yeah. So it's out there. It was running pretty heavily the last couple of weeks, and it's promoting, the one that's out there right now is promoting come to St. Genevieve, do shopping, do the wineries, stay overnight, do a winter getaway in St. Genevieve. Ready for a break after the holidays kind of thing. So we'll probably take that and just tweak it a little bit moving forward. And here shortly we'll be looking at specific commercials to promote specific events moving into the spring. So you might see more of a variety. There might be some that are do a getaway to St. Genevieve, and others that are here's a cool event coming up this weekend. So
How many more campaigns do we have ahead of us?
we have 28 commercials per month between now and April, plus we have the Great Getaway weekend package. They're going to come and actually film something here similar to the example that we had, I think, with St. Charles.
Okay, good. The next item was to sign up for the TAC members to help business owners with visitmo.com. I think we handed out the list from last year, or last meeting. I guess what we're looking for is, would you pick one or two of those businesses and try to work with them to try to get them on visitmo.com, and maybe if you just take that list and indicate which ones you put your name and which ones you want to work with, and hand those in at the end of the meeting, I'd appreciate it, and we can start working those, because again, I think we've got some momentum here. We just need to increase it, and get more of a presence there.
My education, what does it take to get on?
Well, you have to set up as an industry partner and a password, and then you fill out an online form with your data. You can include pictures. If you do it once, it really doesn't take that long.
After you do it.
After you do it. And it's really straightforward. I think this is, again, one of the goals of trying to get more of our businesses out there in the digital world.
And visitmo.com is a really good source for a lot of reporters when they are, doing their research. A lot of times they go to visitmo.com to get pictures or get information on destinations, to get story ideas.
Museum, as an example, would need uploadable images.
Oh, yeah.
Do they, so maybe they don't have them?
We've got pictures of the museum, and I've talked about that before, and we need to go back again. There is no presence of the museum digitally out there.
I don't think the museum even has a computer.
But you don't have to have your own computer to do it.
I mean,
That was
for their staff,
kind of my next question was, if I took on the museum, could I sign them up from City Hall?
I have done that for businesses, yes.
Is the museum on here?
Yeah.
Oh, just museum, okay. So right above museum, let me just ask, has anyone around the table heard anything about Monia's, the situation, what's going to happen?
But
Just rumors, okay.
I mean, they have a tenant, and so he comes in and tells me what one of his daughter tells him, because he's struggling with water bills and things.
There's definitely less items in the shop. I believe they may have had some kind of auction or something.
Mhm.
No, they
They've just
were,
taken it out.
Yeah,
they were in there boxing things
Oh,
up.
okay.
I suspect that building will be available.
So nobody has to sign up for that one, but if you would sign up for the rest of them.
Yeah. Just pick one or two, and
We had done that, how long ago? And I haven't looked at it since. I mean, is it pretty easy? I mean, I'll,
It's very simple.
yeah,
it is
okay.
very simple.
If you
It's just
already
time-consuming.
have a password and an event or something, they know who you are. And you can just do additional ones.
yeah. They also have little techniques that they promote, like if you're going to do visits, say your website's visitstgen.com, the V, S, and G, you always capitalize those.
Right.
And he'll give you feedback sometime when you
Yeah.
put something in. I mean, they've been very good about that.
But the individual establishment needs to get on.
Right, but we have had, I have helped people get on because they didn't have a computer.
I know, but they need their unique password.
Yeah.
Somebody just can't.
You can't sign them up through your password?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, so Martin, he's saying you could sign it up. If you have a password?
If you have an account,
Yeah.
Right.
you can actually sign up other people on your account.
I always ask them for a document that says I can do it,
Yeah.
They the proprietor?
the proprietor.
So that if it comes back to you and somebody said, or if they sell the business,
Yeah. I would prefer the businesses have their own, but sometimes that's just not feasible because they're
Well,
not.
like the museum, they don't.
Yeah. Because it's hard, if they close, how do you get them off of there, or the person that put them on? So
Right.
it's best that they do it.
I'll tell you what, I can take Simple to Sassy and Impressions Tea Room. I could take both of those.
I'll take Teresa Caven's building.
I'll take Handle Corner and Mozart.
I can take Sun and Bloom and
Just a minute, Somebody write these down. It'll be on.
Who was that last? That was Beth Sonnenblum?
Sonnenblum and Sam Stifley.
What was the second one you said, Beth?
Sam Conlon.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Yeah, it's called Rust now.
Rust, yeah.
What's that, what is it?
Rust.
It's all her metalworking kind of stuff and.
It looks awesome.
Well, I think I set up Sam's original one. It's
Oh.
under my name. I may,
Oh,
if you
okay.
want, I can take care of that one.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the name again?
Rust?
Rust.
As in what happens to metal? when-
Yes.
Yes.
You have to go in to understand.
I know what she does, I'm just not sure. I don't know.
Well, then I'll take Treasured Memories.
Steph, did you say another one besides Teresa Cavens?
No, that's the only one I know.
Okay.
Are we gonna talk to them before we just go? do it?
Oh, no, yeah, I
Okay.
think the thing is to go talk to them again, show them what the website looks
Okay.
like, and you ought to take it, maybe look and see how to do it. But I think it's more getting out there and encouraging them to get onto the website.
What's left? I'll take a couple, what's left?
Here. Sorry about that.
I'll do the museum, so had some conversation on that already.
Who was taking True Blessings?
Kathy, you'll take care of your own.
No, I'm not
Oh.
going to do it.
Oh, you're not?
Last year I went on when we had the first push for it, and so did Spirit House, and we worked at the same time together. And there is no question except what is the name of your business that applies to my store. It's, if you're a window factory or some kind of manufacturing plant, you can answer all the questions. I got nothing.
Well, I think, with yours, when you still have Diane's stuff in there?
When I did this before, I did not have Diane's
Yeah.
work. And I'm not sure how long I'm going to have it, so I'm not thinking about that at all.
Well, I think, they are looking for certain things that appeal to tourists, and clothing stores by themselves, but they may not want to put that on. But you had artwork in your store also at the time, or you do now, and I was just trying to see if we could get it on
You
there.
have one still.
I was just thoroughly underwhelmed by the website and the questions and the profiles they wanted. I told Steph, I'll look at it again. But
Well, you want to be listed there when people go to see what to do in St. Genevieve, don't you? I mean,
On
isn't that the point?
Yeah, on shops, they're a little different than, say, restaurants or,
They've gotten very
Oh.
different than what they were, because years ago, when we had Missy Lane's outlet, I put them out there, because I would have people call,
yeah.
and they wanted to go, that was where the Camel Corner is.
Right.
And it was clothing, but it was a unique thing, but there wasn't the categories like we
Right.
have now.
Well, if it doesn't apply, then we'll take it off the list, but I know you've been a strong proponent of tourists coming through your shop.
I can do Merchant Street Gallery, that's,
Bills.
yeah. So did anybody say Stained Glass Shop or Stella and Me? We're only a few people away from getting this knocked off, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you can put me down for another one. Which one you putting?
Which one did you put, you put your name by the Oris and Sear, oh, no.
No, that was me.
Oh.
No, I thought I was Oris and Sarah.
Oh, you are?
Did I not put my name next to it?
With it says Laura on one side and Dina on the other.
We're gonna tag team.
Duke it out,
Just a
girls.
Just a sign
That's
one.
okay.
I'll take another one,
I'll-
as soon as I figure out how to do it.
Laura can
I
have
should be
those
able
too.
to. Who's left? I'll take it.
Who's got Cyril's? Well, whoever's got
Laura,
Cyril's should do Cyril's. too.
Laura has Oris and Ciro's.
Okay.
So we're looking for somebody for Stained Glass Shop, Stella and Me, the Triangle Inn, Zelinsky, Sandbar, and St. Mary Antique Mall.
I'll do stained glass.
Okay.
And
I can call Stella. Stella and me.
That was Beth?
Laura.
Laura.
Oh, sorry.
I'll do the antique mall.
I'm surprised Stella's not.
Mine too. What about True Blessings Home Decor?
Really, those two are right next to each other, so
I
True
can do
Blessing and
those.
Blaza? Okay.
Who owns the antique mall? It's not a local person, is
Mr. Scott.
Mr. Scott still on that?
So there was, but there's a manager there.
Then you have more than one.
Well, yeah,
Yes, he
there's
has
one in
several in
Farmington,
St.
too.
Louis.
Well, isn't there one? He had one in
He
Farmington.
has one in
Seven
Farmington,
at
too.
one time, but he got rid of the one out there on F Road. Turned that into his
Brewery.
brewery and distillery.
But there's one on 67 still that he owns.
Yeah.
There's one on 21 that he owns, there's one in Overland that he owns, there's one on Manchester that he owns, there's one on 94 that he owns.
Yeah, that's the story I heard.
Yeah. Okay, Joyce and Choice, did anybody say that? Well, do we even want to put that up there, because it's not often
Yeah.
not open very often?
And I know she does not do computer stuff, because I talked to her about that.
Yeah. Okay, so that really leaves us Zelinski's. Does anybody know them? I mean, I kind of know them. I could see if I could help them out with it. I mean, they should be pretty tech savvy, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not.
Yeah. The Sandbar and the Triangle Inn. That's all that we're lacking. Unless somebody can twist Kathy's arm.
Give me the triangle in.
Okay,
I was
thanks,
gonna
Tina.
say, I can talk to Dee.
I know them.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's saying.
So I'll take Sandbar, too.
Will you kind of summarize
That's
this?
how you can
You want
wear
me to
your
send you this
bourbon-flavored
digitally? Yes.
Oh, I can just give this to Carla then. I'll just make a copy and have her.
While
I can
she's
send
bringing
you
up that thing about the bourbon.
So you don't have to type
If you
one.
go to kiss somebody on the cheek, do they get, rash or something? Or if they're an alcoholic, they start going,
Oh, with the bourbon, oh, with the chapstick.
yeah.
It was just bourbon flavored, right?
Smelled pretty
Sandra
good.
was looking at her.
Chewing on it. Okay, well, thank you all for volunteering. Is there any other old business at this point? Not, let's move on to new business. Upcoming events for January and February?
Well, the one from last time was for
Still-
both months. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
that
I'll
was,
have a new one next meeting.
any other new business to come before the committee, council? Not, let's move into committee reports. An update on the iBrochure. How's Madden doing on that?
They sent us a draft, and it was just before the holidays, and we just need to get together and get them some comments back on it. It looked pretty good, but it needs some tweaking. There were certain things missing. So it's in the review process, would be the official report.
Okay. Update on the ferry website.
Do you want to update that, Stan?
Well, we've got the sign-in and password to Sandra, and did you email it to
Jan,
Jan? I
yes.
don't have his email.
Yeah.
To Jan, so now that's all I did, and the instructions on how to do it. Now, I don't know how they get notified who at the ferry.
Well, so we have, it was kind of a two-pronged approach. I communicated with Ron and asked him if we could, get cell phone notifications of when it's up or down or a change point. And so that's no problem. And then we just needed the ability to change that website if it's when Steph's not available or the Tower Rock's not available. So Jan and I agreed to be the backup plan. And so now Steph, Jan, and myself all have the ability to change the website. And,
And an agreement that they'll text you or something. They'll
yes,
give you.
yeah. So,
And it's super easy to change. Did you go in there and it's just a
I
toggle?
haven't tried it. I went on this morning and somebody had already done it. Did you do that, or did Tower Rock?
No, I don't do it at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only, like
When I call
called
you
me
and say,
it wasn't
"Help."
done.
Well, I think, the thing that it was on weekends and stuff like that, that we were concerned that the word wasn't getting out. And
Yeah.
so, okay. We'll see how it works. Good, thanks, Steph. Okay, anything else on electronic? Print media, availability and distribution of brochures. Well, we have them available. Are they all, where do you store them someplace?
Yes. A lot of them I have at the office, and then some of the, we have 4 different versions, 5. So some of the backup copies are stored at the street department. But the local distribution, I have been taking them around to all of the wineries and making sure that they all have a supply of them, and to the bed and breakfasts. And as I get around to the shops, I've been taking them some, but everyone knows that they can always come to the Welcome Center and pick up a supply. Technically, that's supposed to be the default. You come to the Welcome Center.
Did you get some? Did you do the microtel also?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we rotating the old brochure out with them?
When I go, I pick it up, and so we're recycling those.
Okay.
Is that what you meant? Or did you mean?
Yeah, I didn't know if we were still, do you still?
No, I'd rather not the old one be in distribution. There were just so many things. It had been out there
Well,
since
that's good to know.
2011.
I'll get you mine
Yeah.
then. I'll pull them today.
Yeah.
On, I think it was Tuesday, I think I saw the community center still has the old ones.
Yeah, they do. I've seen them.
Okay.
Yeah, would you like me to take some out
Oh, that would be wonderful.
there?
But I think we need to finish working up the distribution list.
Right.
Because I know places like the Old Brick used to have a box of them, and I think, some of the restaurants probably.
Yeah, I think, absolutely. And we contacted the State Division of Tourism to get the addresses for all of the other welcome centers. And then I got pricing on how much it's going to cost to send, a quantity of them by media mail or book rate through the post office. So those types of distribution would be the list that you're talking about. We have to kind of set up a list. And what I've been doing is keeping track of every place that we have distributed, so that we have it on, like if I go out to Crown or Cave or something and I take some with me, we've been marking it. But
I think the other thing is to maybe, as we travel, and I know I was just in Columbia last Monday, and I'm halfway down the road there, and I go, I should have asked to take a case with me to drop them off at.
Yeah.
There's like 3 different places along there that you can drop them off.
yeah, the
So-
one thing is, I
but we need
think
to get them
that,
to call before
Yeah.
you go on a trip and say, is there any that need
Yeah.
to be delivered or whatever?
I think maybe we've been leaving too many at places, because I'm picking up a lot of 3/4 of a case of the old
Yeah.
one. So maybe they just need, a lot of these smaller places, they just might need 100 or so. And then when they need more, please give us a call. But I hate to have a whole case sitting somewhere for 3 years,
Right.
So,
So I think that's why I think it's important to kind of maybe even put that distribution list together and how many, so that we can work that.
yeah.
But it might be advisable also kind of put just together a list of places here in St. Genevieve County that we put these things.
Yes.
Did we put the little blue stand up out at was that at Phillips 66? Or,
Our loves.
It's at Southbound Fuel.
It's at Southbound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
It's empty.
oh, no, it can't be.
Oh, did you just take some out there then? When?
The Southbound Fuel one?
Mhm.
Yeah.
The new brochure?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just out there like a week ago, maybe? When is today, Friday? I was out there last Saturday, and there wasn't any in there. Now, maybe they just need to put some, did you give them some?
I did. I gave
Okay,
them a whole case.
They probably just need to refill it then.
Yeah, but it was in the front, but when you opened it, there was none inside
There
there.
was none in it. But they just need to refill it.
Yeah, they
Are
do
you
have a
putting
whole
one at
case.
Lowe's or?
We talked about that, I just haven't had a chance to.
What's your
Do we
intention?
have another one of those?
Yes, we
pictures?
do.
Okay.
I took some out to, this is just a little bit of a tangent, but I took some out to the Dairy Queen. They used to have those racks where you walked in. They don't have those in their new reconfiguration. So I left them off, and none of the owners were there the day that I left them off, but I'm hoping that they still have a way.
They do. Gary's, I think he's building something because he came
Okay.
and got our profile again too.
Oh, good, okay. So he's got mine out there. Hopefully he'll.
I asked him the same thing. I'm like, well, where are you gonna put them? Because you don't have the thing
Yeah.
up there anymore.
But he's
He said, we're in
working
the
on it.
process.
Oh, good.
So,
Thank you. I'm
yeah.
glad I asked that.
Okay. Anything else on that? Tourism development, I'm proposing that we have a little meeting, follow-up meeting on February the 7th. Do you have Would your conference room be available?
Oh, for what day, I'm sorry?
February 7th, it's a Friday,
What time you want to meet them?
9:30.
Okay.
Anybody that wants to go, this was the brainstorming on new event ideas
Where,
Um,
at Dina's?
at Dina's.
Can I double check my?
Yeah, if not,
make
I'll-
sure?
I'll get
I
everything.
think we're good, but I just want to double check that.
I'll send out a follow-up email on that. Anything else? Anything? I know we have a Tourism Tax Commission meeting following this, and
Yeah, this is under resource, I guess. We used to have a partnership with AT&T years ago. They helped sponsor the Bastille Day celebration. They paid for the brochure. And the partnership we had was with a fellow named Greg Felzine, who was from Cape, and he was a friend of mine, and he got moved to another area. Well, I just got an email from him, and what it says is, "I'm back." And his title is Regional Director, External Affairs for AT&T in Missouri. He did move to St. Charles, and he's stationed in St. Charles. My first question is to Dina. At the chamber meeting on the 6th, you have a speaker.
We do.
I've asked him to attend the meeting because he wanted to have a luncheon on the 6th, and I told him no, that that was our chamber meeting, and that's why I asked you that this morning. I'm not saying that they have deep pockets, but I'm saying that in the past, I've tapped into that quite often, and they've paid for a lot of things. He is a friend, and for like events, when the events are happening and they don't have enough funds, we can occasionally get them to help pick up some of that cost.
Or if we need matching funds for something, yeah.
Not even matching funds, they
Just-
just, would pay for it.
That's great.
He likes us, and he's the guy, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, it's like having a lobbyist, you know? They pick up, they'll pick up luncheons, they'll pick up meetings, they'll pick up expenses. And I'm going to give you his name and his information to you.
That's wonderful.
But if you need him to speak, he would
Sure.
even speak at that meeting. You have to tell me. So you can call him, or I can call him if you want to. I don't know who your speaker is.
We're doing Affordable Health Care Act this month
Okay.
for our businesses. And just kind of a sidebar, the Chamber has moved the monthly membership meetings to quarterly membership meetings starting the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
So
I
we'll
thought I
meet
heard somebody say
February,
something.
May, August,
Yeah.
and June, and November.
Yeah.
So there'll be a press release coming out on that very soon.
I think you just did it.
Well, I mean, informally, yes, but an actual to go out to everyone. So, but maybe possibly the May one, and I'll get in touch with you and
We'll
see
see
if
if
we'll
he
have
will.
some.
Yeah. He is going to be at the meeting, though, on
On
the 6th,
the-
yeah.
Oh, we could certainly introduce him, which would be
Absolutely.
nice,
Yeah.
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 We can introduce him. I mean, a lot of people know who he is.
Give him an
He-
opportunity to introduce himself and say what he kind of does.
Yeah, I mean, he was here from back in the 80s and the early 90s. And then he got moved to St. Charles, he got changed to another area. But that's what he does, and he's very cooperative about picking up costs. You know, and the little communities don't have the funds that the big cities have. I'm sure he spends a lot of money with those, you know.
Maybe he'll co-sponsor the bus.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd pay for the motor coach to come down here. We'll just have an AT&T bus sitting out there going to St. Genevieve.
Good. Well, thanks, Mike.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. You wanna
Oh,
mention-
Bob just pointed, I totally forgot to mention this. This is the American Spirit magazine. You may or may not be familiar with this. It's put out by the Historic preservation organization, the Daughters of the American Revolution. And they did a very nice 3-page article about St. Genevieve. And so some of you may have already seen this, but I thought I would just bring it and share it, pass it around for those who might not. And I've scanned this and asked Chuck to post it. You know, we kind of include articles about St. Genevieve on our website because sometimes media look there when they're looking for fun things to cover, so. Oh, 573 magazine, yeah.
We are, if you haven't already seen it, we are well represented in 573 magazine. They even gave us credit for B&B.
That we don't even have, yeah.
Probably generous of them.
And actually, I
They
had,
should volunteer to be on their editorial, the proofreading staff. This is like got 5,
Yeah.
just typos, grammatical errors and things.
I'm surprised that not all of our B&Bs were listed.
Who reads this?
it was like a
Apparently
best
I do,
of.
but-
Oh, it was a best of?
Yeah,
You have a-
I didn't read it that way.
yeah. It was a favorite, like our list of favorites, so yeah, they weren't all listed.
You know, kind of, you understand it with a newspaper that's writing articles at 7 o'clock at night that have to make the addition to be on the streets and, the next morning. But it seems like you shouldn't have.
They also have a lot of wasted space too, look at this.
They,
It's just advertising.
They brought us a very big stack of those in our office, so if you don't want to pay $3.99 for it, you can
Well, I
stop
stole
by the
one from
office and
Santa.
get one. Did they distribute down there too?
Well, I met with her last week, so she brought me a big stack, and I asked her, I said, you know, does the chamber have some? And she had already been there, so that was good.
Normally, they don't leave that many.
Right.
Because they used to be,
They used to be free,
Free,
now they
now they-
charge for
right.
them.
And you know what I found interesting, she told me, was that they don't recycle your old magazines, give them to her, and she repurposes them into the doctor's offices and stuff.
I think that the production values are really high in the magazine for a regional publication. I think.
It's a very niche magazine, and, well, we advertise in it. It's because of our women's wellness demographic is
Well, and then you got
big into that.
Dr. Gavins is in there.
Gavin's
Yeah, exactly.
feature article
Yeah.
Yeah.
that identifies her.
They generally try to pick up on new things happening, and so one of the issues in the fall, they actually did a little feature article about Beleza Salon down there, and I was talking with her one time, and she said that after that article hit that magazine, the phone calls and everything to her business just took off. So, yeah, so I just met with them recently to talk about strategies for the future advertising and coverage.
one of the things we might want to think about, I know you have lots of spare time.
Yeah.
I'm just-
Yeah.
But travel writers, identifying who they are and maybe targeting some of them in the markets that we are interested in. I mean, you can't do all of them, but are there some that we might want to make?
They all want to get comp.
Yeah, they do, and that we can't afford to
Well,
do
but I have a
all.
budget for that. Like next week, I've got a radio personality, today's Friday, right? Yeah, next week, from St. Louis coming down, and we're doing a FAM visit for her. She'll be here for 2 days. She's going to do a special about St. Genevieve to run on her. I can't remember the name, but it's something about women's something in St. Louis. And so, for instance, she's going to be here 2 nights, and Jan is comping her 1 night at his hotel, and I'm picking up the tab for the 2nd night through my FAM budget. I sent an email out to all the B&Bs, and I said, okay, the only fair way to do this is to do it first come, first serve. So Jan responded first, and then 1 night she's going to go out to dinner at a restaurant on Thursday night, another one on Friday night. So that's an example.
Yeah.
When is she
Just
coming?
next Thursday and Friday, the 23rd and 24th. So yeah, I've begun to do that, but in terms of researching the travel writers and sending information directly to them, I haven't done that yet. Right now, I'm really focused on groups. We went through the student group process in the fall, and now we're going through the adult group process right now, so maybe we'll get to travel writers when we get through that.
They'll probably like it a little warmer anyway.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised she was willing to come in January. She's going to go see the Tigers one day.
How's the Tigers doing?
I guess they're doing okay.
I've never been there, so.
Oh, yeah.
Don't wear a lot of cologne,
Yeah.
I'm telling you. No, no, they'll spray you.
I was, yeah.
They do. They don't like it.
Oh, babe.
They want you to smell like them, so they just help you out with that cologne problem?
Wasn't there a cologne called Tiger or something?
No, but I know many people that said that they have been sprayed. And my first question was to them, did you have a lot of cologne on? And they said, actually, I think I did. And I'm like, that's wonderful.
Wonder if they like bourbon.
Yeah.
The mountain lion, whatever, that cat will spray you too. I know people got sprayed.
They used to tell you when you would go in to buy your tour ticket that if you had a lot of cologne on that they didn't advise. But I don't know that they do that anymore. I think they just probably like that.
Restaurants.
The restaurant is open for special events, and then they have their bed and breakfast guests eat there.
But
Okay.
And it's a generous spray.
it is.
Well, don't put your.
The bourbon chapstick, I knew it,
I was
yeah.
standing next to a woman who got sprayed. She had on beautiful leather pants
Oh, my.
and this gorgeous sweater and just got doused. Good word,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
They can spray a long distance, too.
Oh, I know.
Martin, this
I
time
was
of
never
year, you should
sprayed.
know
Don't
that
take it
it's,
that way.
You not really had intended for my question.
yeah.
You degenerate.
Well, we're just trying to protect your attire.
Okay, is there any other items? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Beth, second by Steph. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Thank you all. Let's have a great 2014.